What's up, guys? I'm here with Chris from Red Hook about their game here at South by Southwest called Darkest Dungeon. First question, Chris, what is Darkest Dungeon for anyone who may have not heard of it?
Darkest Dungeon is a turn-based RPG. Think of it as XCOM meets Dark Souls with H.P. Lovecraft in the middle. But essentially the hook of the game is about the stress of being an adventurer. So it's got all the classic RPG elements, but your job as a player is to manage your character's stress levels as they adventure through the dungeon and keep them relatively mentally balanced. Because if you don't, they can develop these sort of afflictions like paranoia, hopelessness, and things can spiral out of control very, very quickly. So we wanted to bring a psychological and a vulnerable approach to RPG heroes, because more often than not, they're held up as these sort of immutable, all-powerful kind of beings that just quaff health potions and keep killing things. So we thought it would be really interesting to play with the idea that, you know, even heroes are human.
Okay, that's a really unique and cool idea. I've never seen anything like this before. How exactly does it work? Like, the further you go into a dungeon, will the psychological terrors sort of get more and more intense?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, think of yourself as a football coach in the game. So you recruit heroes, you pair them up in groups of 4, you send them out on these dungeon expeditions, you provision and prepare them, hopefully for success, and everything that happens while they're out there can add to their stress. So their stress gradually counts up the longer they're sort of out doing these awful things. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it's the worst job in the world, right? So you can make camp to reduce stress, deliver inspiring speeches and tell jokes and bandage yourself up to sort of mitigate some of that. But generally, the longer you spend out on these missions, stress sort of creeps up. Like I mentioned, when it hits the capacity, they kind of do what we call a resolve check, where the hero can actually become empowered, shake off the stress, and enter this really like heroic state. But more than likely, they'll fall victim to one of these afflictions. So for instance, a character who becomes paranoid may not accept a heal because he doesn't trust the healer anymore. A character who is hopeless might just start spouting off really depressing things that stresses out the rest of the party. So we really wanted to play with a gamification of group dynamics. Movies like John Carpenter's The Thing, Aliens, those kind of interesting party dynamics and role reversals are kind of at the heart of what makes the game unique.
Okay, speaking of group dynamics, what can you tell us about the characters in the game? How many are there? Do they all have unique traits that distinguish them from one another? Do they fulfill certain combat roles, things like that?
Yeah, a character's worth is generally a combination of their combat proficiency as well as their camping proficiency. So some characters are stronger around the campfire than they are in a fight, and that's by design. Character classes, they all play differently. They each have 7 different skills, but you can only bring 4 with you, so you can do different loadouts. You might have multiples of the same type of character class in a party, and that's just fine. You can rename them, hire them, fire them. We give you free reign to sort of do what you will. And then when you get back to town after surviving a dungeon run, the stress is persistent, so you have to bench them in a variety of stress-reducing activities, like the tavern, the gambling hall. They can flagellate in the church, whatever they need to do to bring their stress level down. So you have to sort of swap out your A team for your B team and keep on going.
Okay. Speaking of the art style for the game, I've never seen sort of a hand-drawn art style with a dungeon crawling game. I've never seen them mesh together, and I'm told that you did all of the drawing for it. Is that true?
Yeah, I did all the drawing, all the icons, all the menus. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun to work in this style. I'm a concept artist by trade, or art director, so I kind of came from a digital painting background. So it was really great to get back to my roots and explore the comic book influences that got me interested in art in the first place, and sort of give them a little bit of a tribute.
One last question. What consoles is this game on, and when can people play this game?
Well, you can play the game right now. It's out on Steam Early Access. We shipped on February 3rd. We've gotten a lot of really positive press about being an example of early access done right. Holy, I can't believe, sorry.
Someone just beat it?
He beat the boss with like 2 guys. That was amazing. That's crazy.
And it was all caught on film.
Caught on film.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a difficult game. It's permadeath. We really challenge you to be prepared and think carefully. But anyway, it's coming out on, we're going to ship the full game later this year. It's going to come out on PS4 and Vita. Hopefully that's later this year. He just party wiped on the mini boss.
But at least he beat the boss, right? Yeah. Okay.
He beat the main boss, so it still counts.
What a great way to end.
Everyone died.
What a great way to end. Okay, yeah. Thanks for talking with us. Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much, man.